What's up everybody? Episode 6 here of my 1982 PMD seat project for my 97 Firebird. Last episode you saw that I got the seat backs sprayed. Overall it went really well. After I finished the video last time, I had to go through and kind of touch up some areas that I had missed. But today's episode I'm going to take the seat backs and I'm going to get them assembled to the seat bottoms for my 97 and basically get everything put together and get it installed in the Firebird to complete the project. Verdict's still out on this paint as far as how it adheres to the plastic and to the fabric. Hopefully I'll be able to do a follow-up video after a few weeks or a month or so of driving, just to find out, how well does this actually hold up. Did some research on the plastic trim. They sell a kind of like a plastic paint. It's called a promoter, that you're technically supposed to spray on the plastic first and then you spray the color. Didn't really know that when I started. Like I said, I've never done this before, so I'm not real sure this is going to hold up in the long term without having that done. I've heard some people say it does fine without it. Some people says it won't last at all. So again, verdict's still out. We'll see. Considering that this piece is going to have contact with the other one and rub when I recline the seat or whatever to get in the back, that may be an issue. Just sand it down, respray it. We'll do what I have to do to make these things, last. Another thing is even though I didn't put the promoter on and I just have the color on here, I've heard some people also say that I could just get a matte clear coat. So I'm on the lookout to get some of that, and I'll likely try that first. Put a matte clear coat onto the plastic to kind of hopefully lock the color in so it doesn't rub off. I'll do a little bit of a close-up video of the final spray painted seat back so you can kind of see how that looks. So here's the final. You can see there's even some vinyl on the bottom. It's got kind of like a gritty kind of a texture, obviously because the paint is on those fibers. It just kind of makes for a weird kind of a feeling other than it did before. Before it was kind of soft and really just kind of like, it felt like a recliner in your living room. Now it has a little bit of like a sandy, kind of a gritty type of a texture. And even, when you push on it, you can kind of see the lightness of the tan kind of show through. Again, you can kind of see it here. That's just because, it's basically just spraying the top of the fabric. I tried to squeeze it a little bit as I was spraying to try to get down into the fibers, but it's really not going to be 100%. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with how well it accepted the paint. So that being said, I'm going to work on getting it attached to my seat bottom. The color isn't a perfect match for the fabric. It looks like it sprays darker on the fabric than it does the plastic trim piping and all that looks charcoal gray, but the fabric looks pretty dark compared to the charcoal fabric in my 97. So overall, pretty pleased with it. Let's get them all put together. I gotta get the passenger seat out of the Firebird yet, and we'll get them both in here and start assembling them and getting this project wrapped up. Alright, so that's just kind of finger tight for right now, but you kind of get an idea of the difference between the styles. You know, on camera, yeah, even in person on camera, the seat back on the 82 is definitely darker. That paint definitely applies a little darker than you probably would think. You know, on the plastic it shows up lighter, on the fabric it shows up a little bit darker. And I don't think it's really the substrate being tan, because the plastic was also tan, so I don't know. It's probably just how the fabric absorbs the paint versus the plastic. But well, there you have it. That's the style I'm going for on the 82. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these bolts down and we'll get to tearing down the passenger side. This one out of the way. And pretty much the tear down on the passenger side is identical to the driver's side. As we saw in the previous video, the latch actually comes with these holes in it for this piece. Of course, this, as you saw, this whole side is covered with foam, even though it's not needed, but there is a hole there. However, the problem with the hole is it's not tapped, so you have to take a screw and get it started. Okay. There's the final product assembled. Still have to do the seatbelt loop, but that's in the car, so that'll have to wait. Here we have it. Let's get the trim on the driver's seat. Forgot to put my cap back on. Go to your home. Too good for your home. I've got to work on getting this ashtray thing put back together. These little metal clips. So that's a wrap on the 82 PMD project for my 97 Firebird. Overall, I'm really happy with the end result. Glad to finally have this style seat in a Firebird that I own. Again, this seat pays homage back to the 82 Trans Am, and if you've watched the Knight Rider TV show, you're familiar with the look and style and feel of that car. Every Firebird I've ever owned, I've always wanted to kind of have this type of a seat in it to kind of pay tribute to that. I've always loved that style of seat, especially watching that as a kid. Finally happened. I know these came out of an 82 Grand Prix. The stitching isn't quite the same as what you would find in the Trans Am, but I don't care. I think it looks awesome. I think it turned out pretty great. I am pretty happy with the vinyl and fabric Duplicolor paint. It seemed to cover the plastics really well. The fabric was a little bit trickier to make sure you got everything. Even out in the full sun when I was installing these, I kind of saw a couple spots that probably should go back and touch up, but it covered it pretty well. The only thing I don't like about the paint right now is the fact that when it got on the fabric, it's a touch too dark for me. Really, I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it though. I think it turned out pretty nice. The plastic pieces match perfectly. The fabric went a little bit darker than I was expecting, but all in all, I'm really pleased with it. Is there anything I would do differently? Well, I probably would have put the promoter on the plastic first before I put the spray paint on. Like I said, I've never really done this before, so I just grabbed it, cleaned it, and sprayed it. Some research that I found says that it'll probably not be long lasting. I might be able to find some matte clear to spray on it to kind of lock that color in, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. but that's be for a later date. Longevity, I don't really know about this product. I don't know how well it'll hold up on the fabric over time. Maybe I'll post a video in several weeks or a couple months just to see how it's turning out. But as far as the seat and the approach of everything, I'm really pleased with how it turned out. How I was able to use the 97 seat bottoms and just bolt the 82 seat backs onto it perfectly. Everything lined up perfectly. It was really not that hard at all, actually. It was pretty straightforward. Even the seatbelt guides screwed right in. So really happy with how that turned out. So I paid $15 for these seats, and it was $8 a can. I ended up using pretty much 2.5 cans. So I'm in for pennies on a project like this, and I got the look that I wanted. I'm super happy about it. Okay, so here's a little postscript video. It's been a couple days of driving the car with the new seats installed, and I've noticed on a couple of the trim pieces that just tiny little scratches revealing the tan. Kind of see how it's rubbing, letting that gray paint come off. I know that's the back side, and I really don't care about that, but there's a couple spots in the front that I just kind of quickly hit with you know, you can see it there. Some of the tan kind of coming off this edge right here. So I'm going to hit that with some touch-up spray. And I bought this today. It's just a matte clear enamel Rust-Oleum. I don't want a glossy finish. I want a matte finish. So I got this clear coat. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, try to lock in that charcoal vinyl and fabric paint. Okay, so I just lightly coated this with the clear coat. And I guess it's doing its job because I can't really see where I sprayed it. It didn't discolor anything. Actually looks pretty good, so I'd say that's a successful spray. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray the opposite side and see how well this turns out. Alright, so as you can see hopefully in the film here, one coat so far of this matte clear kind of gave a little bit of a neat little sheen to that, compared to the kind of the dull, just gray color I got here. So it's actually kind of neat that this clear is giving a little bit of a gloss to it. I mean, even though it says matte, it's kind of giving a little bit of a shine to it, which I think is more natural to what the plastic looked like before I sprayed it. So I'm going to work on getting the rest of the pieces. I've touched them up. They're dry. I'm going to start hitting all the rest of them with some clear. Alright, so there's 2 coats of clear added to the plastic. I think I'm going to call it quits on coats because it's starting to get a little too shiny. So it's actually starting to get a little more shiny than the stock piece, but I think it coated enough that I'm going to call it done. So I'll get these put back on the seats in the car and then do a final wrap-up shot. So here's the plastic parts with the clear coat on them. Putting them back into the car, there's a couple of instances where I ran the screwdriver across it and the screw, and it kind of held up. So I'm hoping that the clear coat on top of the paint will allow this to kind of hold. There's the clear coated painted trim. Time will tell as I put a few more miles and log some seat time in here to if this fabric paint will actually hold up. We'll see, but glad to have these trim pieces clear coated. Hopefully that'll add to some longevity to the paint. I noticed before I had them clear coated, there's some spots kind of getting scratched and letting the tan show through, so we'll see how this handles up over time. So that's a wrap of the 82 PMD project for my 97 Firebird. Comment below, pros, cons, what you like, what you didn't like about this project. Make sure you hit the like switch on your way out and consider subscribing to the channel. And guys, have a great day. God bless.